Chris Brecher with a simpler stocks free video for June 13th, 2016. As you can see here, I'm doing this on the Saturday. Usually we get the video out on Friday night. This time I flew into Austin. So it's 9:56 Eastern, 8:56 Austin time. We're trying to have this early on the weekend so you could get it to go over your research Sunday night. So just so you know what happened with the market this week is we got the sell-off that actually on the simpler stocks premium side, we were showing this on Friday night. Pretty exciting. On Thursday night, we were showing that the SPX, because of the open interest, a little hard to show you on the weekend, and I'm hoping this even works on the weekend, but if you put in the Analyze tab and you put an SPX in here, and what we were showing in this was this. Go into Analyze. Well, it's not going to let me do it. So, but basically, there was a big old open interest at 2100 in the SPX. So what we were doing in here on the premium side is we were saying even though the SPX is near a new high up at this area, 2115, you had to be real careful about the open interest pulling it down to 2100. Well, guess what? It pulled it right down to 2100. Now, there were two ways to trade it on Friday, and we'll get into that in a minute. But let's go recap on what the market did yesterday. Basically, the ES is down 825. They opened down about 1615. Went down and sort of got pounded down to down 24 and then rallied back up to that 2100 level to get the SPX up to the 21 level on the close. Now, you might see this, just so you know, so you don't get confused. See that this on how it looks like 2087 and the day before it was like 2097 before anything? The whole reason is there was a rollover. So if you look in here and you're real close, you'll see this is ES September. The ESU6, not the M6. To give you an idea of this, if you ever want to know how this looks just intraday, unlink this in here, and on the left put ESM6. You can always manually put it in. Then when you put in a 15-minute, you see the difference. See the difference in the price. You have this 2087, 2095. Really the same thing, they just do the rollover, and that's what happens with this. So it moves like that. It looks a little funky. That's why when you see this big old gap, that wasn't the market selling off Thursday. That was the rollover that they're using that new contract. If you use this one on Friday, you'll see that it was unchanged Thursday night, late Thursday night, early Friday, and then slowly fell apart in this area. So just understand that that's what happened. It just picked up steam until really the middle of Friday afternoon, and we'll get into that in a minute. Other thing in here I wanted you to see was the NASDAQ down 46. This has massive implications for the overall market. Russell down 15, bonds up again. This is also a big indication. These are all exciting things that we're going to be talking about in the premium video. You have the SPX down 19, like I said. As you see, if you widen this out, because I'm on a laptop today, so it's a little harder to see. But if you widen this out in here, guess where the SPX came close to? 2100, 2096. Now, that might not seem like a big deal in here, but it was 2090 with about 15 minutes to go. As you see, the advanced decline was very poor yesterday. Nikkei down almost 300 points. You had the gold down $1.68, a little flight to quality of the bonds and gold. Gold up 360, but actually the gold stocks were down. I mean, sharply down, huge reversal. Why is that? Gold stocks have outperformed so much all year relative to gold. It goes to show you that the overall market can pull down gold stocks. If you look at NUGT. You know, I hate to trade NUGT because it's a 3 times ETF. But look at this, down $4.8. It was up 4. It had a 12-point reversal. Unbelievable, but that's what happens even when gold's up, when something is extended and the overall market goes down. That's what the NUGT did on the 15-minute chart. Very dramatic move in there. So wanted to go back in here, show you all this, and there are a couple of things that traders were keen off of on Friday. Number one, NASDAQ, like I said. Number two, SPX 2100. Now, the reason that 2100 is important is because there's open interest there. And traders have to square their position by the end of the day by either getting out of the 2100 puts or getting out of the 2100 calls. Like I said, I can't go back that day and show you, but I can tell you that the open interest there added up to about 50,000. There was probably 27,000 on one side, 23 on the call side. And sure enough, watch this. This is pretty neat. Put up the SPX here. I'm going to take off the indexes so we have more screen space. Check this out on the left, and we're going to put it on a 15. On the right, I'm going to put in a 5-minute chart. Notice on how it trended down all the way to that 2,000 level. And then look at it miraculously the last hour go from almost 2090 to 2098. Unbelievable, and that's all because of open interest. It's fascinating how that works. So what are we... So very interesting. Always keep in mind the open interest. Second thing I want you to see on here is the NQs. For days I've been talking about, are the NQs a bull flag? Or are they a megaphone top? Go and put it on a 78 and you'll see 195 is even more dramatic. I know on the left here this looks like a nice little tight flag until you really zoom in. And when you zoom in, you get this. A megaphone top. You don't see them very often. Now, the whole thing is, do you draw it from the wicks or from the body? A lot of times I draw them from the body. So a lot of times these wicks are overnight and you can't rely on them. So the whole idea is it broke right here. Now the NDX is going down to support in this area. Now, why is that so important? Let me take off these arrows and show you again. If we get to this area here, that's May 24th. I always look at this from a relative point of view. Where was the ESs on May 24th? Very important in here. Let's link them up in here. So keep in mind the May 24th and keep in mind the spike in the NQs and where was the ESs on that day. As you can see, May 24th, the ESs were 2060. So this is the whole area. Luckily, we got the little sell-off yesterday, so they're trying to snap back in line. But to me, it looks like it's destined to get this area. And why would I say that? Because the straight up move means there's very little resistance support on the way down. So you can see on here, to me, it's always connecting the dots. And at the minimum, it's 2065. So that's what I'm going to be looking for next week at the beginning. Now, obviously, you can see on the left, this little area here, that's a support zone. So I could get all the way to 2040 to 2065, this area in here. That's all the support zone, and I'll be watching that very closely because especially we're already oversold. So I hope this helps everybody. Just want to get into another thing in here. I'm very proud of the whole thing with simpler stocks. So let me show you what I mean in here. If you go into simpler stocks in here, and when you get the $7 subscription for 30 days, you get the email alerts. This includes stock ideas, which have been really working well. Unusual option activity. I don't post every option activity. I only seem to post the ones that I'm very picky of finding ones that work. Index and futures charts have been working real well. Usually put out about 6 of those a night. Usually put out at least six chart ideas a night also. So of all these, we're not a stock picking service. It's an idea service. Almost everything I go over, I then have explanations for, so you can learn from me on how to find them also on your own if and scan for them. I think this is a really rewarding business, and I like to show you ideas that are on the path of teaching you the path to profitability. Other thing in here we have in here, and let's go back in here so you can see it. So you have the chat room. That's every day from 9 to 10 Eastern. On Friday, I had to do it early because I was flying, but every day we have from half hour before the opening, half hour after the opening, where we can prepare beforehand and then jump in trades right away. Premium video is a lot more in-depth than what you're hearing now. We have a forum where you can, right here, where you can exchange ideas, and they're always up on a sort of a message board format. You have the meetup, and almost every week I do something like this. where I trade live using the MACD and trend lines. And then what you do is you go in here on demand and you can watch the video as long as you're a subscriber and watch these learning videos. If you go into the meetup, you'll see that we have a number of learning videos. All these usually cost hundreds of dollars with other firms. I was just going to do it as a 15-minute video, but with the interaction and the questions and answers, we usually go on for an hour. And these have become very powerful attractions to our site. And one of the reasons our site has one of the highest retentions after trials in the whole industry. So I hope you enjoy all this. Like I said, I will be broadcasting from here Monday night. Hope you all enjoy this. I think we're going to have a wild week. We have Wednesday, we have the FOMC. Friday, we have triple witching and a rebalance. It'll be very interesting on how all this plays out. So I hope everybody can join us. Have a great day and great rest of your weekend. Take care.